Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 26th September 2021. Okay, let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles. Let us take overview of all these articles first, then we will discuss them one by one in detail. As it is Sunday's newspaper, important pages for our examination, science and technology page and FAQ page. Along with that, some international relations related developments, as our Prime Minister visited US for bilateral visit as well as Quad meeting or Quad summit. Okay, so first of all, mains related development on FAQ page, page number 12, there is one article which talks about page number 12, which talks about why government is reluctant to reduce taxes on fuel, okay, petrol and diesel. So very important from economy part. Article initially talks about the government recently, the GST council decided not to include the fuels, this petrol and diesel under GST. So yes, why the government is reluctant, at the same time some criticism regarding government not bringing this under GST regime and what lies ahead. Okay, so GS3 paper economy part. Then Quad to counter Afghan-origin terror, Quad leaders drop technology plan. Basically the outcome of Quad summit is being discussed here. This is important from international relations perspective. Along with that, Election Commission mulls, deregistering of inactive political parties, electoral reforms, GS2 paper, polity and governance part. Right. So yes, why Election Commission is proposing this particular initiative. Okay. Then along with that, Chief Justice of India laments reductive nature of justice system. So yes, just judicial reforms, criminal justice reforms, all these aspects are important. Some good highlights by Chief Justice of India in one of his speech. So we can take input from polity perspective, GS2 paper. Then Kerala to get digital de-addiction centers. So yes, Kerala has become first such state to implement digital de-addiction center. Digital de-addiction in a sense that those young children or youth involved in, let's say, addiction of online games. So such games, yes, many a times it becomes very difficult to we can say overcome that addiction, and for that purpose a scientific method will be used here. Okay, so yes, we are expecting such question in society part or ethics part, case study also. Okay, so you can use that as a reference, as a way forward. Then specifically for prelims examination, alert sounded in Odisha over Cyclone Gulab. Okay, so about this Cyclone Gulab and then basics about tropical cyclone. Yes, we are going to understand this from geography perspective. Then rainy September's point to monsoon shift on page number 11, science and tech page. So there is this article which analyzes the trend of last 3 years, wherein we are witnessing increase in the September month rainfall than the average rainfall in that month. Okay, so this is how the total monsoon rainfall phenomenon is shifting. The withdrawal of monsoon is getting delayed, and that's why last year IMD also changed the dates for withdrawal, okay, arrival as well as withdrawal of monsoon. In this manner, we should take input from GS1 paper geography as well as prelims. Fine. So yes, let us go into details of all these articles. First article, status quo on petrol. Yes, let us understand the context first. Recently GST council meeting happened and decided to keep fuels, petrol and diesel outside GST regime. Okay, so why there is a demand to bring petrol and diesel under GST? First of all, we should understand the context. In most of the let's say major urban cities in India, the petrol prices one above 100 rupees per liter, right? We all know that, and there is let's say increasing demand that petrol and diesel prices should come down. And at present we need to understand that a majority of the, let's say, part of this price that we are paying, that goes to government as a tax on these fuels. Okay, so yes, we should understand some facts also, some data also, but before that we should understand there are two reasons for increase in this price range. One is that there can be direct increase in global prices of crude oil. There can be global prices of crude oil increase, and subsequently there will be increase in the final products, that is petrol and diesel in the country. As we know that around more than 80% of crude oil is imported in India. Okay, so because of that the fluctuation in the global prices affects. Second thing is, we can say, taxes on fuel in India. Though we can understand that at present the prices, global prices increased, but last year what happened in April month last year, the prices of crude oil in the global market declined due to decline in the demand. Okay, and because of that there was actually lower global prices. However, this benefit was not passed on to the consumer. The government kept the same prices of taxes, or we can say further increase the taxes also on that, so as to increase the revenue of the government. Okay, in this manner we should understand that at present the global prices again regained their value in the global market, and therefore this further added the prices, final prices of these products. Now, why are the central and state governments reluctant to lower the taxes? We should understand some reasons here. Of course, first thing we should understand that the part of revenue, tax revenue. So if you are talking about data or facts, around rupees 6 lakh crore in 2020-21, both combined data of central and state government, together the tax revenue from taxing these fuels, 6 lakh crore rupees, substantial amount of tax revenue. As we know that economy is on downturn, and to some extent that affects the ability to let's say receive the revenue by the government, tax revenue. So that reduces, and therefore the substantial amount of revenues were generated in last 1 year from this source. So that's why the central as well as state government, they separately levy the taxes on this fuels, and therefore they do not want to forego that tax amount. Second thing is that states are more worried. Why they are more worried to bring this let's say tax fuels under GST regime? Because they feel that they will not have much say in those taxes, in deciding those taxes. They will be, let's say, waiting for the central government to share these taxes with the states, or the amount or revenue with the states. The third aspect we should understand, the amount of taxes or tax rate. At present around more than 100% taxes are there on fuel. That means suppose there is 100 rupees 100 we are paying per liter on petrol price, then more than 50 rupees we are paying as a tax. Okay, this is how the situation is there. And suppose it is brought under GST, the maximum taxation slab that we have in GST is 28%, and therefore the taxation amount only would be 28%. If suppose a cess is implemented or levied by the central government, then you can say 3-4 rupees extra. So this will actually reduce the amount of taxation revenue by the government, and therefore what we can say that the government is fearing about this particular situation. Okay, so these are the reasons we can say that the government is very much reluctant, both central and state government. We can understand that the central government is further adding the cess, it is levying cess on this fuel products, and this cess is not shared with the states also. Okay, so in this manner we should understand. Now, the criticism regarding this, the other view, we will say that. We should understand this aspect also. Many times students may miss this aspect. Criticism of not including fuels under GST. So, some of the economists are of the view that when the fuels are included in the GST, what will happen? There will be decline in the fuel prices, and to some extent it will lead to loss of revenue. It will lead to loss of revenue to the government. However, lower fuel prices will boost economic growth, economic activities. Through this, the government can further generate revenue by taxing other economic activities, and in this manner this can be offset. This can be offset, revenue loss. Rather, there will be more gains than the loss. So the long term picture is not seen by the government. Some of the economists are of this view. In this manner, the people who are facing the brunt of this increased fuel prices, that will be also reduced, as well as economic growth will be also there. Try to understand, when the fuel prices are less, the disposable income or the amount of money that the people will have, that will be more. They will spend that amount to consume other products, and because of that further there will be economic growth. In this manner, the other view we should understand, to bring GST, these fuels under the GST regime, it will help the economy in long term. In short term, the government may have loss revenue. It will be offset in near future. Okay, so in this manner we should understand what lies ahead. At present, we can say that unless and until the situation that we have in Indian economy is not achieved pre-pandemic level, we may not expect these fuels under GST regime. Okay, so at present what we are going to witness is whatever the global fluctuations that we will have in the crude oil prices, that will be passed on to the consumer without changes in the taxation by the government. Okay, so this is how we can understand this particular issue. Now, moving on to next, the outcome of Quad summit that happened. Okay, let us understand the outcome. There are two articles talking about, one in general on which different issues there was statement, and other technology related one particular document is released. Yes, so outcome of Quad summit, we are expecting question. Actually already the question was asked, but again it is in news in last 1 year for quite a lot time now. So on Afghanistan, the document says that the Afghanistan, the approach of all 4 countries related to, we can say that security related issue or economic related or humanitarian related issues, there will be some kind of coherence in the policies of all these countries. These countries also together has said that Afghanistan soil should not be used for terrorist activities against other countries, or we can say that anti-terrorist let's say measures, there will be some kind of coordination here. Then on North Korea and Myanmar, so 4 countries of Quad calls upon North Korea to join the dialogue. Okay, and we can say that to end the violence in Myanmar and establish democracy again. So we know that last year there was coup in Myanmar, and since then the protests are going on, right? So all four countries again said that there should be end in this violence in the Myanmar and there should be democracy again. Then on climate change, yes, four countries have said that they will try to further revise their NDCs, nationally determined contributions, and will try to promote the net zero emissions by 2050 by accommodating local or national level policies, okay, or policy obligations. So to some extent, out of these four countries, India has not given the deadline, okay. So that part is accommodated depending on the domestic obligations. The statement says that, okay. Now on vaccine supply, yes, on vaccine supply, especially US and India is going to cooperate. For example, so here you can give the example of BioE company in Hyderabad. It is going to produce around 8 million doses by the October month of Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Okay, Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and it will be exported to other countries. Okay, so US is using these companies in India or investing in these companies in India to further export these vaccines on behalf of US. Okay, in this manner, along with that, the countries appreciated the restart of Vaccine Maitri initiative by the government of India. Okay, so on this vaccine supply. Then new infrastructure partnership. Yes, this new infrastructure partnership in the Quad grouping focuses on, we can say, the demands of infrastructure, sector in the region, Indo-Pacific region, and provide technological solutions. Okay, this will act in line with Blue Dot network. Do you know about Blue Dot network? Yes, Blue Dot network. So Blue Dot network is launched by US, Australia and Japan as against China's Belt and Road Initiative. As against China's Belt and Road Initiative, this Blue Dot network is a kind of certification or given to infrastructure project. Certification in terms of quality standards, and when this certification is given to any particular infrastructure project, then it ensures further private investment in that project, right? So in this manner, this partnership, infrastructure partnership, will work with this Blue Dot network. There is a separate document released in terms of Quad principles on technology design, development, governance and use. So this is important. We all know that the Industrial Revolution 4 or the disruptive technologies like machine learning, robotics, artificial intelligence, data computing, okay, so cloud computing technology, data analysis is there. So these technologies in future are going to change the nature of industry, or we can say manufacturing processes, and all these things are there. So because of that, some of the principles needs to be established on technological design, then the development, governance and use. For example, yes, surely all countries should ensure that this design is environment friendly, inclusive, right? Along with that, the development and governance and use. Surely this should not be used to abridge the rights of the people, or we can say that for the state surveillance. Many a times what is happening, the state is using the technology for state surveillance. For example, facial recognition technology. There are threats, right, for mass surveillance. So for that purpose, these principles are very much important. They also talks about protecting these technologies from the proliferation into the hands of antisocial elements, terrorist organizations. So remember this, whenever we talk about the global principles on development of technologies, there is one more. World Economic Forum has given the principles related to artificial intelligence and its use. In the same manner, you can give reference to this aspect also. At the same time, there will be one initiative launched in semiconductor supply chain. Semiconductor supply chain, and this is important. We all know that semiconductors, how we faced problem last year. So when yes, automobiles, right, automobiles, car manufacturing is there, electronics industry is there, and we know that we are very much dependent on China, and due to trade barriers since last 1 year we faced very much problem. Up till now we are facing the problem, and we are now providing some boost to semiconductor industries. Recently there was one scheme launched by the government. Do you remember, we discussed this in the Hindu analysis? Production linked incentive scheme recently launched for auto sector, and this was specifically for semiconductor technologies, new technologies for electric vehicles also. So in this manner we should understand the importance of semiconductor supply chain initiative. So it is going to benefit India, especially for automobile and electronic industry, right? So this is the outcome. You should be aware about how these will help India also relate with India's interest. Okay. Now, Election Commission mulls deregistering of inactive political parties. There are many such inactive political parties which are actually taking benefits of income tax exemption. Okay, so political parties registered with Election Commission, they have this let's say provision of income tax exemption. So they may be misusing that without any active involvement in the politics. For example, in 2019, it is not mentioned, right? Exact, yes, the fact and data it is mentioned here. There are 2,796 registered unrecognized parties, and the panel has sought the power to deregister inactive parties among them. Some facts for prelims examination. The latest list of parties are 8 nationally recognized parties. Which are these 8 nationally recognized parties? TNC is there, Trinamool Congress, then BSP, Bahujan Samaj Party, then BJP is there, then CPI is there, Communist Party of India, then CPI-M is there, Congress is there, Nationalist Congress Party, NCP, and National People's Party. Okay, at national level these are the we can say 8 recognized, and there are 54 recognized state parties also. Okay, we know that, we learn this in M. Laxmikant book. There is one chapter in the end, electoral reforms, electoral system and political parties. So in that we know that an Election Commission of India, the powers of Election Commission of India, there we know about, or the functions. So recognizing political parties is the function of Election Commission, right? So at national level, national parties, state level, state party. Okay, now moving on. Chief Justice of India laments reductive nature of justice system. Excuse me. Yes, so he was actually giving one speech, and in that speech, try to understand the speeches of Prime Minister, President, Vice President, Chief Justice of India. Okay, So they are very much important. Whenever they have any public function, they address the public function on certain issues. Those issues relevant to our examination. You need to, let's say, note down these quotations you can use directly in your answer. Sadly, our system is designed in a such a way that by the time all the facts and laws are churned out in the court of law, much gets lost in the process. So he is saying that how a common person faces legal problems in getting any kind of grievance redressal or justice in our justice system. Okay, so the person comes with small grievance, and get involved in the judicial system or legal system in such a way that he forgets the original problem and faces many new problems. This is how the adversarial system that we have in India. The common man loses control over the fate of his own grievance in the labyrinth of complex language of various statutes and the process of justice delivery. Okay, and that's why he calls upon the lawmakers, legislature, have to revisit their laws, simplify them to suit the practical needs and realities of the time. The executive has to make rules which corresponds to these laws for benefit and welfare of the people. The legal framework has to be drastically altered to make justice delivery mechanism people friendly. So it talks about legal reforms. We know that many of our laws are colonial era laws, 100-year-old. Okay, and yes, because of that, what happens is they are not in line with the present times, the present challenges. Okay, and therefore the people are facing problem in receiving justice here. So there is need of changes in the wordings. It should be very simplified. The common people should understand them. Have you actually read the original statute? Very, we can say that difficult language, completely in legal terms, only lawyers will understand that. Okay, and because of that, the common person will not be able to understand all these things. Okay, so this is, we can say, you can write in GS2 paper polity part whenever we talk about the judicial reforms, legal reforms, try to use this in your answer. Then Kerala to get digital de-addiction center. So this is good thing. We have seen, observed the young people, children, adolescent children. So they are involved in playing these online video games on the smartphones, on their laptops, personal computers in such a manner that they completely leave out the physical world, and there is some kind of addiction created which not only affects their, we can say, physical health but also mental health. Okay, so for that purpose the Kerala government has come up with this digital de-addiction centers to get rid youngsters of cell phone and online gaming addiction. So Kerala has been always at forefront when we talk about health sector. This is also, we can say, that part of health sector, right? And we know that how that PUBG game has created the problem, and when this was banned, so all youth was completely disoriented for some time, right? So in this manner we should understand this is, we can say, the need of the hour, and this is being implemented. So in society paper, GS1 paper, we can expect the challenges, the problems faced by adolescent group, youth today, what problems they are facing. Okay, or children, what problems they are facing. There can be question from the society aspect. Or in ethics paper also, what are the problems with the technology. Okay, such kind of questions are asked. Okay, ethical issues in application of technology, and all these things are there, right? Okay, so you can use that deliberately in your answer, this reference, as a way forward. Now, alert sounded in Odisha over Cyclone Gulab. Yes, so whenever such cyclone originates and make landfall in Indian Ocean region, so we have follow up in the Hindu analysis, right? So Cyclone Gulab, this naming of the cyclones is given by a particular system, a group of 13 countries. We can say littoral countries of Indian Ocean region. 13 countries together, they give 13 names, and there is total 169 names list is created, and sequentially the names of the cyclones is given. Now you can see here the speed of wind speed is given in that article. On the basis of wind speed, basically the tropical cyclone is categorized by IMD in this manner. Look at this naming here. First of all, it will be called as depression when the wind speed in the cyclone is 31 to 50 km per hour, lowest. And there are many such depressions originate and dissipate also. But some of them strengthen into deep depression. Some of them strengthen into deep depression. You can see here 51 to 62 km per hour wind speed. Then we can say that further some of them strengthen into cyclonic storm, and 63 to 88 will be you can see that in that range this is the wind speed. So it is cyclonic storm. Now many of them, or let's say few of them, not many of them, will be converted into severe cyclonic storm. Like last year or this year itself, cyclone Yas was there. Okay, severe cyclonic storm 89 to 117. Then very few will be there in very severe cyclonic storm. Then there will be extreme severe cyclonic storm, and ultimately there will be super cyclonic storm. Super cyclone Amphan last year, wind speed most destructive. Okay, more than 221 km. This is for a prelims examination. Categorization. So IMD categorized this on the basis of wind speed. Okay. Now after understanding basics of tropical cyclone, this is given in NCERT. We all know that tropical cyclones are known with different names in different oceans. How? Yes, they are known as tropical cyclones or cyclones in Indian Ocean region. Then they are known as hurricanes in Atlantic Ocean. They are known as typhoons in Western Pacific and South China Sea. And they are known as willy-willies in Western Australia. They are known as willy-willies in Western Australia. We can expect basic question and match the following. Okay, prelims examination, match the following. Okay, cyclone, hurricanes, typhoons, willy-willy. Now, what are the preconditions for formation and intensification of tropical cyclone? First and foremost is that large sea surface should be available with temperature higher than 27 degrees Celsius. So warm surface ocean water is required, right? And that is available in two different timings in Bay of Bengal or Indian Ocean region. We can say that the present time September, October month, and then we can say that March, April, May month. Presence of Coriolis force, very important, and we know that where the Coriolis force is present and is not present, it is present 20 degree north and south, and it is absent at equator. Do you know about this basics? And that's why tropical cyclones are never formed at equator. Despite of availability of warm waters, okay, despite of availability of warm waters, tropical cyclones are never formed at equator. So there what will happen, because of absence of Coriolis force, the winds will directly converge and there will not be rightward or leftward movement for formation of cyclone or anticyclone. Okay. So in this manner we should understand. Then other conditions are also there. Small variations in vertical wind speed. Then we need to have pre-existing weak low pressure area. So around that basically the movement happens, wind movement. So weak low pressure disturbance is required. Upper divergence above the sea level system will promote the intensification of this cyclone. Now, structure of tropical cyclone. In structure, three important aspects are important. Here, look at this structure. This diagram is given in NCERT. When I say NCERT, 11th standard physical geography. Yes, so central part will be called as eye of the cyclone. In that eye of the cyclone, the winds are descending like this. Warm winds will be descending like this, and these will be feeble winds, slow movement of the wind, and therefore it is zone of calm. Basically there will not be turbulence, no cloud formation at the eye. Then there will be surrounding region called as eye wall. So this region is called as eye wall, and this is having fast moving, spirally upward moving winds, and because of that the turbulence is there. Okay, so upward convective currents, we will say that convective currents of these winds in a spiral manner, and there will be outward flow of winds like this. Now radiating from this eye wall are rain bands. Okay, so these are actually rain bands, and these rain bands are having the cumulonimbus clouds. Which are clouds? Cumulonimbus clouds or nimbus clouds. These are rain bearing clouds. These are rain bearing clouds, which result into the intensive rainfall with thunderstorm and lightning in short period of time. Okay, so these are the types of clouds: cumulonimbus and nimbus clouds, cumulus clouds. So this is the structure of tropical cyclone. Now if I am the person and the tropical cyclone is arriving like this, so what will be, let's say, which areas of tropical cyclone that will be passing overhead me? First of all, there will be, yes, these what you can say, rain bands will be there. Then there will be eye wall. Then there will be eye. Again the next part of eye wall and rain bearing winds. In this manner there is a landfall in the coastal areas. There will be a gap of half an hour or 1 hour wherein suddenly there will be stopping of rainfall. That is eye region. Okay, so sequence of events, 1 day or 2 days, there will be huge rainfall because of this tropical cyclone. Yes, so this is the basic we all know now. Yes, moving on. Rainy September's point to monsoon shift. Some trend analysis regarding the rainfall patterns that are changing in recent 3 years. Last 3 years, September month rainfall has increased substantially. Okay, so for the first time since 2010, India poised to see 3 consecutive Septembers with excess rain. You should be aware that last year also we had excess rainfall in September. This year also we are witnessing excess rainfall in September month, as well as there is delayed withdrawal of monsoon. Okay, so at the same time, both 2019 and 20, India received close to 10% more monsoon than normal. What is normal in India? 96 of long-term average, right? Long-term average rainfall is there, 96% of that, and 104% or 106%. So that will be called as average. Below that there will be below average, above that there will be above average. In this manner we should understand. Then withdrawal dates are changed, like for example last year, to reflect the increasingly delayed withdrawal of monsoon, IMD updated the beginning of withdrawal date to September 17th. In both 2019 and 20, the monsoon began its withdrawal in October. The same is expected this year. Okay, so we are still expecting rainfall in this week, and after that there will be withdrawal of monsoon. In this manner we should remember, but the experts are also of the view that we are not yet confirming this particular trend as a reason of, or we can say as a manifestation of global war. Okay, so just you should be aware that there are changes in the rainfall pattern. Okay, yes, so these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Fine, any doubt? Okay, fine, let us stop. Thank you.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.